All right, guys, let's get into the couple games that we have this week. Obviously, the Carolina Panthers on their bye week got a big division game. No, I'm with you on that one, man. Latest bye week in the NFL, and it's week 14. That just feels a little bit wrong, but that's a story for another time. I kind of want to go ahead and I want to kick this one off to Bro Talk before we get into the big in-division matchup of the week, because you guys are coming off of a pretty brutal loss, and now you're facing the Seattle Seahawks, who are 9-3. Any way you guys pull off the upset?
You know, it'd be the most Falcon fashion to drop a game to the Jets and then pull off this upset. Like, what for at this point? I think defensively we match up well with Clint Kubiak's offense, a little outside zone heavy run scheme with the under center play action. We've got the guys that we need to. I think the Seahawks offensive line, beside maybe Ray Zabel and Charles Cross, they're weak in pass protection. So I think defensively we play well, but offensively, our offensive line with the injuries and not living up to the potential, and older Kirk Cousins that can't really get moving. Mike McDonald's going to game plan to shut down Bijan. If Drake comes back from injury, there's going to be a game plan to shut him down, and it's going to get ugly. You know, I don't expect a victory. I don't think we get a victory. I will be shocked. Well, not shocked at the same time, because I said it could be a Falcons thing to do to win, but I think this is an easy 3-score victory for the Seahawks, which pains me to say, but that's what I think is going to happen.
Bro Talk, keeping it real. He's going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. Let's go on over to TJ. TJ, who are you taking?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks in this game, but I don't think it's out of realm of possibility that the Falcons can win this game. This is around the time where Sam Darnold kind of, reverts back to the pumpkin that he is sometimes. You remember like the last season when he was riding high against Minnesota, and then all of a sudden he came back down to earth and put together some of the worst performances you ever seen. I mean, even last week versus Minnesota, he only had like about 130 yards passing. I mean, he didn't throw any touchdowns, didn't have any picks, but, it was more about that defense and them those 4 interceptions by Boston. But I just think that Seattle's defense is pretty doggone good. I just think that they can rush the passer. Kirk Cousins, he's a little bit of a statue in that pocket. And, if they can get pressure on him, he's going to make mistakes. And if they can run the football effectively, I think that they can win this football game. So I think you'll see a really valiant effort by the Falcons, but I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to win. They're just one of the best teams in the NFC right now, and I just think that they do some really good things, but I don't think it's going to be because of Sam Darnold. I think it's going to be more so because of the running game and that opportunistic defense.
Looks like TJ is also going to take the Seattle Seahawks, making that 2 of 2. Let's go on up to James. James, any way Atlanta pulls off the upset?
I mean, is there a way that Atlanta can win this game? Yes. I don't think that that's a crazy thing to say. Do I think Atlanta is going to win this football game? No, I don't think they're going to win. I think that Seattle has just been playing like the better team this year. One matchup that I think is going to be awesome is going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba versus AJ Terrell. That should be a very, very fun matchup to see. But I think Seattle has a few too many weapons. Actually, former New Orleans Saint Rashid Shaheed is out there now. Cooper Kupp is out there. So they've got a very, very solid wide receiver room. I think that Sam Darnold he'll play pretty okay in this game, but I also think that this is, going to be a bit of a brawl. This, I think, is also going to be where you might definitely see this defense for the Seahawks come up. I mean, Ernest Jones the fourth, Byron Murphy, Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence. They've got a lot of really good pieces in this overall Seahawks defense that I think will just be a little bit too much for the Falcons to deal with. Do I think it will be a close game? Yeah, because I think the Falcons are too talented to, I think, just get absolutely steamrolled in this game. But I do have Seattle winning this football game.
All right, so James makes it 3 of 3 Seattle. Let's go on over to Clay. Make it 4 of 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think Seattle will test this Atlanta's defense vertically with its receivers. Like James said, Cooper Kupp, Rashid Shaheed, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Don't forget about that tight end room. A.J. Barner, Elijah Aurora. They've been pretty solid out there for the Seahawks. I like to see the Seahawks get them more involved. But the Seahawks have been a balanced team between the run and pass structure that they run over there. It's given bad defense problems all season. Atlanta's offense, outside of Bijan Robinson, again, has lacked rhythm, explosive plays. If the Falcons fall behind early in this game, the game is over. All right. I think Atlanta will fight. I think they'll keep it close because that's what they do. But Seattle's very efficient and on the road dominance ultimately, I think that Seattle wins this game.
All right, so everybody's going to take the Seattle Seahawks on this one. This is where we kick it off to you guys. Do you think there's any way Atlanta somehow comes away with a massive, massive moral victory that, well, just based off of the way we heard Bro talk kind of speaking, they could probably use. They could probably use. Well, let's go ahead and let's transition on to the final game in the division this week, a big in-division matchup. James, we're going to kick this one off to you first. Now, you guys finally got back into the win column this past week, but not exactly to the tier that you guys were hoping for. Is this a game where you can confidently come out with a win?
Real quick, I was going to sit here and be like, oh, let me get my opinions on the Panthers game, but they have a bye week this week.
They do have a bye week.
Ha! Anyway, yes, I feel like this is a game that the Buccaneers could win. It's at home. These two teams played earlier this year, and the Bucs were able to come out with a 23-3 win. These are two very different teams since then, right? In my opinion, we've had a lot of different switches in terms of both teams, and you never know what can happen, right? Whenever two teams square off the second time. However, with the Bucs being healthier on offense, with Godwin being back, with Bucky being back in the mix, with the offensive line being healthier, I do think the Buccaneers will win this football game. Now, much like what Bro Talk was talking earlier about in regards to the offensive line and whatnot, Dan Feeney, dude, just not playing good. I don't know if they're going to make a change. Maybe they throw out Mike Jordan at right guard. Maybe they throw out Luke Haggard, or maybe Elijah Klein maybe at right guard. But I would hope for some type of change there. I think that Wirfs and Gedeke will definitely help out with like Chase Young and Cam Jordan. Pretty formidable duo there. And I think that overall this offense hopefully gets some more momentum back in their favor as guys get more comfortable. Godwin gets another game under his belt. Bucky gets another game under his belt, which will be huge. Hopefully Ibuka gets going as well. So yeah, I do think the Buccaneers will win this game and continue to have a solid stretch here going forward. So let me get the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this one.
All right, we got James taking his Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's go on to the second half of this game. TJ, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think that the Saints will have a better showing against Tampa than they did last time. I mean, it can't be any worse than what we seen the first go-round. Look, I just think that the Saints offense, in order for them to be formidable in this game, they have got to start faster than they have been early in games. I mentioned against the Miami Dolphins, they were down 16-0. They've been outscored in the first quarter, 92-19 the entire season. Like, you got to be able to start fast. I mean, you talk about Tampa and the offense and guys like Bucky Irvin and Chris Godwin and Emeka Ibuka. And, they got some really talented offensive guys. And, if they get off to a hot start, I mean, it can be a real tough day at the office for the Saints. And, you can't just be relying on garbage time stats and defense is playing soft as a baby's bottom in order for you to get back in games. Like, you got to be able to stay lock and step with Tampa if you're going to keep this thing competitive. I just think that the Saints, what I have seen, if I was to pick the Saints, I'll just be picking them because, I grew up loving this team. But I think that Tampa is going to win. I just think that Tampa is just a better football team. I think the Saints will have a better showing. I think they're going to try to fight. Nobody wants to get swept by anybody in their division. So I think they're going to try as hard as they possibly can to not allow that to happen. But I just look at this New Orleans Saints team, and they're just not good enough to be able to hold up and be able to win games consistently. As always, if they get opportunity, it's always a false start here, a pass interference there, an interception here, a bad play there by Kellen Moore, bad play call. So I got Tampa winning this game.
All right, looks like we also got TJ picking Tampa Bay. Let's see if this one's also going to be a sweep, just like the last game. Bro Talk, let's go on over to you.
Yeah, I think with Tampa getting as healthy as they are on both sides of the ball, I just don't see this being close with the slow starts that New Orleans has and the pressure I think Todd Bowles is going to deliver towards the rookie quarterback. I think Tyler Shuck could take advantage of certain opportunities, but I think how bad New Orleans offensive line is, I just think it's a bloodbath out there, and I don't think it's close. I got the Buccaneers in not an easy one, right? It'll stay close, relatively speaking, and then the Buccaneers will just pull away at the end.
Bro Talk is going to make it 3 out of 3 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Clay, let's go on up to you. Will you make it 4 of 4?
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay just has that defensive front that's going to smother the Saints' run game. They're going to force Shuck into long yardage situations, which is where the turnovers usually happen. Offensively, even a conservative Bucs attack should move the ball. I mean, Bucky Irving has given this awesome juice once again. Chris Godwin is heating back up, and I think he's going to continue. Saints defense has major run fit issues right now. Unless the Bucs completely implode this game, this is their game to lose, right? I think Tampa will handle business, and yeah, I think they win.
All right, looks like everybody's going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just like everybody took the Seattle Seahawks. Before we kick it off to you guys, who do you think is going to win? Let us know in the comment section below. But that is going to wrap it up for today's episode of the NFC South Roundtable. As always, appreciate you guys so much for watching. Make sure on your way out, you guys hit that big thumbs up button. Help support the channel tremendously. Hit subscribe to join the NFC South Roundtable family, and make sure to click the link in the description box below to subscribe to each of these guys' individual channels. But until next week, same time, same place, we will see you guys then.
Yeah. Roundtable Sports Network is your one-stop shop for all things NFL, with daily live shows covering all 8 divisions in the league, hosted by the best content creators on the web, all on one network. Real coverage, real fans.
Sleeper. Use promo code you see on the screen, RTS, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. You got that correct. You can turn $100 into $200 of free play right now over on Sleeper. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Now, the Sleeper app is still kind of working on their parlays here and their picks of the week, and so can't kick a parlay this week, guys, but that's where we're going to kick it off to you. What are your parlays of the week? What are your player props of the week? Let us know in the comment section below.